Well, it's a good morning at the motel. Currently scrambling around trying to get everything packed up. I have about 20 minutes till I need to be out of here. Somehow managed to fit all my food in my food bag, which is sweet. Packing out some pizza inside of old tortilla bag there. And yeah, honestly meant to get a little bit of a later start. Not quite this late, but I did want the sun to kind of come out and see if it could dry the trail a little bit. It's gonna be pretty rocky today. Gonna have a good bit of actual like climbing to do, some kind of boulder jumping and that type of thing. So if it's not completely wet and slippery when I get out there, that'd be nice. So walking down Route 94 here, about a mile or so, be getting on back to the trailhead and slipping on up and heading up on over that ridge right there. Here we go. Let's see if I can make it out of New Jersey today. A little scramble to start the day. Well, that climb was a little anticlimactic. Got up there and was expecting to have some sort of a decent view back down onto the farmland and the stuff that I'd walk through, but no, just get up to the top and it's a little rock slab and surrounded by green canopy and then straight back down. But anyway, moseying on. Should be into New York in the next, I don't know, 3-4 hours. So showers and laundry are certainly nice when you take a zero, but the day you hit the woods, been on trail for less than an hour, sweat's already dripping off my fingertips. I literally do not have a square inch of clothing that isn't wet with sweat right now. So now I just kind of smell like a sweaty corpse that's been dusted with powdered laundry detergent. The trail's smoothed out a little for me. Enjoying these last few miles in New Jersey here. So I was right ready to take a little afternoon break and have some of the pizza that I packed in and roll up to a road crossing, and Cheshire Cat's hanging out there with his pup. So it was awesome hanging out with him. He cut up a pineapple for me, sat down and polished off the 3 slices of pizza that I packed in today. And we talked about the CDT and the PCT a little bit. So yeah, it's nice to run into some familiar faces and get a little more trail magic. And everything's a little wetter than usual today with all that rain that got dumped last night. Actually just had a rain shower a minute ago when I was hanging out with Cheshire Cat, but we were covered up with some nice green canopy at the time, so didn't even get wet. Well, New Jersey, it's been real. Into New York. Well, no shortage of rock scrambles in New York either. Oh, very nice. A little rebar ladder built into the rock face here. Greenwood Lake down there. A bunch of stormy clouds. Crossed into New York, right there on that little ridge. Well, it's thundering, lightning a little bit. Fortunately, the rain hasn't started because I'm still hitting rock climbs like this right here. coming up here on Wildcat Shelter in just a mile or so. Good day, not exactly sure where I am mileage wise right now. Somewhere probably 15, 17. Wasn't really busting it once I hit the trail around 12, just took my time. And yeah, definitely took my time on those rock scrambles too. It's a little wet, very slippery. I mean, one wrong step and you bust your ass. So took my time there, but looking forward to getting settled. It's probably 7:45 right now, so a little bit of a later day, but get settled on in, have some good dinner, and look forward to a good day tomorrow. Well, it's a beautiful New York morning. Strolling along here. Looks like I'm probably gonna have some decent climbs today, probably some good rocks. Have some good water sources, which is gonna be nice. Yesterday, few and far between, but looks like I have a stream and maybe a waterfall coming up and a few other things. Well, this is pretty neat. Looks like the trail is going to go right up beside this waterfall. It is such a nice, breezy day. I couldn't tell you the last time I've had a breezy day like this, or really any wind outside of the context of a storm. So this is nice. Got a lot of big oaks, a lot of big trees through here. Help to keep me cool too. I maybe should have taken up some rock climbing in the prep stages of this hike. Well, just had some more trail magic. Met an awesome guy named Fred, hung out with him for about an hour or so. Gave me a ice cold Gatorade, homemade banana bread, baggie full of peanut M&Ms. We just hung out. We talked about history and FDR and Gulf of Tonkin and all sorts of good stuff for a good long while. So a lot of good, cool stuff about the history of New Jersey and New York. He's actually a kind of like a trail volunteer, trail maintainer up in this New Jersey, New York area. So it's cool to hang out with him for a little bit. Always getting something good and sweet to lift your spirits is nice. It's a beautiful day. It's probably up in the 70s now, maybe in the 80s, but not nearly as humid as it was yesterday. I'm not sweating profusely at the moment. And from my conversation with Fred, it looks like I'm done with the insane rock climbing scrambles for a little while. So enjoy the rest of this day, and I'll also probably have a view in New York City a little bit later on. This little section of trail through here is so cool. Nice and open. We're coming up around the pond. This is pretty neat. That's where the trail goes. Ooh, I think we're about to have a tight squeeze. I'm gonna have to stop recording. So yeah, squeezed up through this little wedge here. Let's see what else is in store. Beautiful open woods. Talk about a valley of ferns. Goodness. These woods are just so beautiful. It's crazy to think that I'm like 30 miles outside of New York City, probably. Oh, I forgot to mention it, but I came across my first New York bear a little bit earlier today. Just came up over a little rocky ridge, and just down there on the other side, actually. First time I saw him and heard him, he was already turned around and running the other way, so he heard me coming and saw me well before I saw it, and he was getting the hell out of Dodge. So anyway, an encounter. If you guys didn't know, they make Rice Krispie treats with M&Ms in them. They also make them with chocolate drizzle. So it has been an awesome day. I'm loving these just big open woods of New York. A lot of ferns, a lot of nice kind of rocky balds, and I think it's just nice and open, but plenty shaded. It's been cool today with a constant breeze. It's been a great day to be out and about. I've really just kind of slowed down and taken it all in. Some of those rock scrambles kind of forcing you to slow down a little bit, but about a mile or so from the William Bryan Memorial Shelter, which is where I'm planning on getting to tonight. Just there's some good tent spots there, so that's where I'll tent. But also looking forward to checking out the shelter. It's a old stone shelter that is actually built by the Civilian Conservation Corps. So this is kind of like a Depression era shelter. It's constructed during that time, so that'll be pretty sweet. But yeah, it's a pretty neat little shelter, or kind of big a shelter. But yeah, a lot of rocks and a lot of big open woods. Looks like I have this whole place to myself tonight. I got a couple of deer friends over there checking me out. Hope they're fine with me hanging for the night. Well, the food bag is hung right up there in the tree behind me. Had dinner over here at just a little neighboring campsite, just in case drop any food and stuff. I don't like having all that right around where I'm tenting, so I'm gonna walk on over now and batten down the hatches. Looks like we have like a 50% chance of rain tonight. Maybe some rain and thunderstorms. It's pretty windy, and I see some dark clouds trying to roll in on the horizon. Last little bands of light out there. It's the sun setting. I think she'll shed water tonight. Well, just had a bear come up within about 50 yards of me while I was outside of my tent stretching. Slightly disconcerting, but kind of an adolescent bear it seemed. He wasn't too interested, just went right on up the hillside. But my food's hung far enough away from where I'm staying tonight. Don't really have anything that I think they'd be interested in. Didn't eat around my tent, so I think I should be fine. These guys are way more scared of me than I am of them. Well, I'll tell you, it is a nice, cool morning, and I'm happy about that. No wildlife messing with me last night. Very little rain. I think there was maybe a shower that rolled through around 2 or 2:30, something like that. I actually got up and went pee in the middle of it and it was mainly just coming out of the trees more so than actually coming down on the ground. So yeah, stayed good and dry, breaking down camp. It's about 5:45 right now. Gonna grab some breakfast and hit the trail. So we're getting right into it this morning. You're curious, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, sniffing. Oh, there's the Hudson. And right here in front of me is Bear Mountain. A little tower up top there. I'll be there in a little bit. It's a beautiful climb up Bear Mountain. Shoo-wee. Nice little view. Well, made it up here to the summit of Bear Mountain. Nice view from Bear Mountain. Directly across right there is where I was looking over at it earlier. And way back on the horizon, right in there is New York City. There's the Hudson. I'll be crossing over that here in just a little bit. So I probably have a couple miles coming down off of Bear Mountain right now. My plan before I cross on over the Hudson, I'm actually gonna run on into Fort Montgomery, do a little bit of a resupply. They just have a little convenience store on the edge of town. I'm gonna run on in and get enough to hold me over for another 2 to 3 days so I can get to a town that has some better resupply options. But I think Fort Montgomery has a pretty solid pizza joint, so see what I can do about getting some calories in me and maybe packing out some pizza. Here's the beautiful Hessian Lake. I would really like to go for a swim right now. I did not realize it, but evidently I've been walking along part of a historic trail that was the route taken by the British Army during the Revolutionary War. So the AT actually does pass through a little trailside zoo, and there's a lot of people out and about. Quite frankly, I don't feel like going through there. Face mask was required, which I'm not above wearing. I have one and I had it on earlier, but I also found a vending machine that had a ginger ale, so I can take this bypass route and enjoy my soda. This feeds the Hudson out there. There's a big bridge I'll be going across in a little bit after I run on in and get this resupply. There's a good view of the Bear Mountain Bridge going over the Hudson. And I'm on the footbridge that's taken me the non-highway route up there to get on into Fort Montgomery. Do that little resupply. I'll be hitting that bigger Bear Mountain Bridge on my way out of town. And so you know I had to get my chocolate milk. Splurged a little bit. Got some banana bread. Got a bunch of big honey buns. Some more peanut butter. Different bars. I got some leftover stuff in my bag that I can kind of stretch and make all this work together. Well, the Chestnut Mart was good to me. And of course the pizza place is closed on Monday. But I found a good looking deli. Decided to take the high bridge route instead of that lower bridge route, less elevation change. Well, here we go. I'll be climbing straight up that behemoth of a mountain in front of me here in just a second. So I'm about 2 miles shy of the Appalachian Market right now. I'm still stuffed from lunch and from I've already slammed 2 liters of water since being back on trail. Just it's toasty out here, so there's not much room in my belly, but when I roll up, they have a phone charging station and whatnot. I'm gonna let my battery bank charge a little bit, maybe let my feet air out, and if they do happen to have any ice cream or any beer, I might be able to make a little room. There I am. Well, stopped in for a couple refreshing things to drink here. So it's a nice, cool morning on trail. Gonna stop somewhere probably in the 24 mile range today. There's a deli at 20, so definitely want to make it to that deli, see about getting some dinner. And yeah, 24, there's a shelter. Might tent somewhere in between there, depending on how I'm feeling, but yeah, probably gonna make it on into that shelter. But let's see, that'd make tonight will be my last night in New York, because tomorrow night I plan to be camping in Connecticut. So this is the foundation of an old colonial barn that actually served as an inoculation station for the Continental Army in 1776. It's really just incredible to think about what these mountains had going on for them 250 years ago. I mean, there are all these stone walls that are built all around here. It had an inoculation station back there, Continental Army rolling up. You had a bunch of horses out through here. I mean, just these woods were far more alive at one point than they are right now. Just rich with history, just a lot that's gone on. So anyway, I need to be a part of it. If any of you are familiar with Gary Paulson, author of Hatchet, he also has a book called Woods Runner. It is very much the feeling I'm getting through here. Well, I'm completely blown away right now. I never thought I would see one of these. But here's a blaze stencil. I wasn't sure if these existed. I didn't know if people freehanded it or stenciled it, but yeah, looks like someone may have dropped one and left it behind there. They might come back for it. I don't think I'll pack it out. I'll leave it there. So that pond is right up there. It's what feeds this cool little stream. So climbing up the trail right here, and this has to be the most incredible root network I have ever seen on a tree. So coming up on 20 miles, which means I'm coming up on pizza. It's right about 5 o'clock, so it's gonna make for a good dinner time, and then I'll have a few hours of daylight left. I'll see what I can do about maybe getting a few more miles. So Danny's Pizzeria was incredibly good. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had pizza that was that good. That was awesome. I ran next door to that little deli, grabbed a Gatorade for the trail, homemade brownie. See if I can get another, I got about 4 miles till I get to the shelter, and hopefully I don't get rained on.
Around it and just
Shoo.
This tree is huge and healthy. You have to understand. I mean, it's moving the other trees.
So ran into Cheshire Cat and his dog again. Always awesome boost of energy there. Showed me a bunch of cool trees that he's been seeing in this area. He's been out exploring today. Had a bunch of raspberries, not little black raspberries, legit red raspberries. Really, really good. Small, tender, real fresh. They're nice. And yeah, whatever that massive tree was, I probably should look into that. I'm sure there's a story and some history behind that. But yeah, this is a behemoth of a tree. Reminded me of the Kefir oak a little bit, but Kefir oak. But I think that was a rival for sure. Well, nice little sunset view there with some showers off in the distance. Less than a mile from the shelter, staying at Morgan Stewart shelter for the night. Gonna be tenting there. Less than a mile to go. That'll put me at 24 for the day. And yeah, I guess gonna maybe grab a little bite. Not super hungry. Did have all that pizza and that brownie, but probably munch on something and see about getting horizontal for a bit. One kind of neat thing about the shelter where I stayed, that their water source is a well with an old hand pump. It is a beautiful morning to be outside. It's cool. It's probably down around 60. It's not going to get up above 80 today. So this guy's pretty dang happy. I have about 20 miles planned. I think 20.4, something like that. That'll put me at a shelter in Connecticut. So I won't be completely finished with New York. There's going to be one more bobble tomorrow. There's like I think it's a 6 or 7 mile stretch where you kind of bob and weave in and out of Connecticut and New York. So I'll be inside that first little bobble tonight, and then I'll dip back in and out tomorrow. That'll be it. If I look a little sleepy, not really tired, I guess I still have the sleepy in my eyes. Slept like a rock last night. Woke up covered in moss and everything. Cool little squeeze. So this is the beautiful nuclear lake. Got its name from a plutonium research facility that used to be here on the banks of this lake. Chemical explosion in the 70s. I think it was in 72, and after that they ultimately decided it was safe to route the AT around it. But beautiful lake. Hate that I probably shouldn't go for a swim or drink any of the water, but pretty to look at. This is the perfect spot for some banana bread. So exciting news. I just learned that in about 3.5 miles, coming up on a road that can take me to a deli. So we'll have about half a mile to walk off trail to get to it. But at this point, I'm just kind of counting on mile and a half of road walking every day. If I keep hitting these delis and pizza joints and things like that that are only a half mile off the trail, and I'm hitting them around mealtime, you better believe I'm going. Well, this is quite the tree too. My goodness. So I ate that banana bread right up there on that rock outcropping. Beautiful pasture land. Well, time to get a little uncomfortable. This stuff's at least 12 feet tall. Somehow, I'm gonna hike another 10 miles after this. My body's not quite sure what I just put into it. Well, we have some awesome trail magic here. Apples, carrots, a bunch of cold drinks. Thank you, Chris. Strawberry lemonade Gatorade. I did not know that was a thing, but 10 out of 10. Well, I've made it to Connecticut. Well, it looks like I'm going to have this place to myself tonight. Let me show you guys the river. So this is the Housatonic, and right up there to the left, the 10 Mile River runs into it. Here's the 10 Mile feeding on in. So I'd like you guys to take a moment and admire this brownie with me. Nice, oversized corner piece with little crunchy, crispy edges, good and soft and moist. It's gonna be a good brownie. And with a nice little water show. That's a really good brownie. Shout out to Tony's Deli. So it is a beautiful morning. Shouldn't be getting above 80 today, so I'm looking forward to that. It's pretty overcast, so also looking forward to that. Just have a fresh shirt and shorts that got rinsed out, so might as well be a new man. Looking forward to seeing what these Connecticut miles look like today. Rough plan for the next couple of days. I got 40 miles to get to Salisbury, Connecticut. However, I want to slice and dice that, but my plan is to be in town by the end of the day tomorrow. Do a resupply, maybe stay somewhere in town. And so far, so good. So I had to look into it. Pretty sweet little golf course over here. Bulls Bridge Golf Club. Don't know if that's private or what, but if you guys want to golf up in the mountains, Pretty neat place. Hey, big girl. Hey. Well, that last little view there was from Caleb's Peak. I'm working my way down off the mountain now. Got about a mile to get down, and then I'm gonna have a beautiful flat 5 miles rolling along the river. Looking forward to that. And now we stroll. So this rain that they were calling for is holding off, at least for the time being. Seemed like there was maybe a little shower that rolled through around 2:30 last night, and maybe a little drizzle around 6 this morning, but other than that, no real rain to speak of. Trail's pretty dry for the most part. Some of the trees are dripping a little bit whenever the wind blows, but other than that, it's just a cool but pretty humid morning. I guess I'm just gonna get as many good weather miles while I can. The plan for today is shoot for just shy of 22, 21 and a half, 21.6, something like that, for making it into Salisbury. Hopefully do a resupply, and there's a place in mind that I have for staying for the night. Let's see what we have going on here. Looks like an interesting little climb. Oh yeah. Oh, 1,500. That leaves 693 miles. Got some red skin potato salad here. And I had to go the roast beef route. Woo!